For you, bro. But, sorry, I'm going to have to discipline my engineer for a second.
Oh, for Instagram?
It's all good.
Yeah.
We good?
Yeah.
Are we on?
Yeah.
We're live currently?
Yeah.
On the internet?
We are live.
All right, thank you. Hello, friends. Sorry about that little bit of mayhem that you are probably used to if you're a watcher of the Doing Better show. My name is Oliver Ox, and we have a great show tonight. We have a guest whose name I'm going to work really, really hard to pronounce correctly. His first name's easy. It's Sammy Aboagyee. Is that correct?
Yes, that was correct.
Good enough, he says. Good enough. Awesome. Thank you for joining us, Sammy. It's great to have you on the show. Also joined by Broadcast DZ, as always. DZ, what's up?
I gotta get used to the camera being over.
Oh, yeah. We're all new angles. And Amberly's here, too. Yay. All right. So, Sammy, very excited to have you. You are out
Thank
of
you.
You're out of Boston?
I'm out of Worcester.
Oh, you're out of Worcester. Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Worcester.
My daughter's actually applying to a program at WPI this summer to do physics. How long are you a lifelong Worcester resident?
Yeah, since I was born, yeah.
Oh, nice. And you are currently in the modeling world. Is that correct?
Yes, that is.
How long have you been into modeling? How'd you get into it? What's it like?
So, I've been modeling since like October.
Really? It's new.
Yeah. Yeah, for like 5 months now. October.
Time's been going by so fast.
Yeah, 5-6 months, yeah.
Have you always been a fashion guy?
No, I used to have bad fits. It used to be bad. And then like I got tired of like the heckling. So I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna show you fashion. So
Nice. And how did you get into modeling? How does that happen?
So like I really just like wanted to like see if I could get on like an Instagram brands page, like a clothing brand page. So I would like DM a bunch of Instagram clothing brands, and then one finally said yes, and then the rest is history from there.
Wow. So it's something we talk about a lot on the show is like when people get their start in anything. And I think it takes a little bit of bravery to go out and be like, just hitting everybody up. Like,
Yeah.
that's remarkable. And I think when we find out people who are, again, artists, models, entrepreneurs, there's this like thing about people who are like, I'm just going to go ask for what I want. I'm just going to go and get it. Have you always been like that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've been that way since like I graduated like my spring of high school. Like I just was like, all right, like, because I'm a college athlete too, so I was just like, all right, brand deals. I was already doing that for brand deals and NIL, so I was just like, all right, I'm gonna apply that to fashion too.
I'm sorry if you already said this. What made you switch from being an athlete to going into the fashion world or moving into?
So I never stopped being an athlete. I just had more time than usual.
Mm-hmm. But what made you decide fashion was the route? Were you always interested in it? Was there someone that inspired you?
I'd say I just wanted to like dress better. I feel like I was just tired of like what I was doing, and I felt like it wasn't enough. So I wanted to see what was out there for me when it came to fashion. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
What sport do you play?
What you saying?
What sport do you play?
So I ran track since 7th grade, and then now I'm also doing swim in college. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Cool. So is there when did this switch happen that you sort of directed your attention towards fashion?
This switch from track to swim happened this year. Yeah.
Oh, are you a better swimmer than a track star?
I feel like it's like something to get used to, but I feel like I will like get better as it goes. I feel like I am a little bit better at track, but I am a beginner, so I think it's gonna what's it called? I think it's gonna go out perfectly fine.
There's a lot of athletes who get into the fashion world? Do you think that like is that something you see in your peers in athletics, or a lot of people also into fashion? Do you think those things necessarily?
Yeah, like actually, like funny story. So, the agency that I'm in right now, right? Two kids on my football team, we all like I went by myself, and then I just ran into them at the same casting call
Wow.
for my agency. So, yeah, a lot of athletes do like fashion. Yeah.
What do you think that's about? Like, do you think it's something about is just the same type of people, or something that draws athletes into fashion? Like, the thing I always think about is I'm an NBA guy, so like you always see before a big game, they'll show them walking down the hallway, going, getting into and they're all in the fresh fits, or sometimes in some pretty wild shit, depending if it's Russell Westbrook or not. But like, is there something about being an athlete that necessarily draws people that way, or you just think that's how it works out?
I think just like I feel like everyone likes to dress good to an extent, and then some people want to take it further than that.
I mean, not everybody dresses
well. Well, I think most people would want to present themselves well. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, especially when you get into like more professional atmospheres, I feel like there is a need to dress well. But I also think that within art and within sports, there's a shared passion with both of those respects that I would assume that athletes might get drawn in, just like artists kind of get drawn into. Well, I mean, not personally. I'm not really a big athletes person, but I would assume, some people.
How have you found? So, does Worcester have a scene for fashion?
Honestly, no, not really. Like, what's it called? My agency is in Worcester, but I feel like that's like 1 year old. Like 1 year old. Like it's relatively like a newer agency. It has like a small studio space, but I feel like in the next upcoming years, I think it will become.
Are you having to go to Boston for for most of your stuff?
Yeah, definitely. Because I'm always in Boston, or there was like 1 or 2 shows in Fitchburg, but there's not really that much fashion shows in Worcester.
Are there a lot of people that you're meeting from the Worcester area that are fashion people though? Do you think it's like a growing movement?
No, most of the people I have in my like network right now are from Boston and around the Boston area. I feel like the Worcester models are like some people from my own school, but like it's not that much. I know that there's a lot of Worcester clothing brands. That's the thing. Yeah.
I mean, Worcester. I'm just looking it up. It's not a small town. It's
no, it's not. It's the second biggest.
Yeah, second biggest in Mass, and 114th most populous city in the United States.
Yeah, I would say that Worcester's actually pretty up and coming right now. I know there are a few fashion designers. Shout out Piri Posta. Are you walking in shows?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Very cool. What shows do you have? Any upcoming shows? What shows have you done?
So, I've walked in Vlush 3.0, 4.0, and then recently I did a show in Fitchburg. That was Empowerment. It was like a fundraiser. I think it was called like Empowerment Through Fashion fundraiser. Yeah, gotcha.
Is it similar? Like, is learning to walk on a runway and do all the physical things that go along with being a model? Is that similar to learning things in sports? Like, do you practice similarly? Like, do you have to practice and do muscle memory stuff in a similar way? Or
yeah, actually, yeah. Now that I think about it, yes, because you do have to have like a certain type of walk when you're walking. Like for males, like you got to keep your chest up, head straight, never look down. Like you go heel to toe when you're walking, and then yeah, for girls it's much more complex, but for guys it's relatively easy. to walk.
I literally just connected why I'm not that great at walking,
What-
like model walking.
Why?
I get asked to like walk in, and I'm just so like, I'm not. It's because I don't have like an athletic bone in my body. I played soccer for 13 years. I'm trash. I know I am. Like,
I think you could do it because I feel like I started liking modeling and all of that because it felt like a performance. Like people walking, it felt
Yeah.
everything, you know, the
you
music
know what?
in the
And
background.
people say that, and people continue to say that to me. They're like, just pretend like you're performing. You're so good at that. And I'm like, it's so different because I'm like, I'm very free flow. When you're walking, it's like calculated, and then you have to pose. Like, it's too scary.
I just think you gotta get
I think
used
I'm
to it.
prettier in motion than I am when I'm like stopping. You know, like if you can't see me, then
Yeah. Like I used to get like well, no, for like the second fashion show I felt like really nervous because it was bigger than my first one, but like I like practiced my walk over and over, and then I felt confident like for my show in Fitchburg, and that was the biggest show I've done. It had like 100 people. Yeah.
That's
And it was like sold out.
Very cool. You had mentioned before that you were interested in helping grow the scene in Worcester. Can you?
Yeah.
Because I know, like in general, I think there's a lot of stuff going on in Worcester. A friend of the show, Root Awakening Kava Bar, just opened their second location in Worcester.
And they've been doing pretty good. I've been seeing it on the Instagram.
Yeah, I got to get out there because it looks like a really good scene. So and there's a pretty good music scene in Worcester as well.
Yeah.
I know I've played a few shows out there. Like it's a cool.
The DCU Sunners out there.
Yeah, and it's a big with all the colleges there. Like, there's definitely a young vibe, and like there's a lot to it. So I'm interested in like, would you see some more potential there?
Yeah, I think I was thinking about setting up like a Worcester Fashion Week and like getting 4 different venues, 4 different shows, and then having a whole Worcester Fashion Week. Like there's a Massachusetts Fashion Week.
yeah.
That's a great idea.
That was initially what I was thinking. Massachusetts Fashion Week. Do you know Megan and Danny? Shout out them.
I know Meg. Yeah,
She's
Megan,
a
the
force to
CEO.
be. Yeah, she's a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah,
Very cool.
I feel like I have some things to learn from Megan too. I plan on
I think you should definitely connect with her if you haven't
Yeah.
already.
Who's Megan
Yeah.
for the ignorance? Of
For the
people
ignorant
like
people
me?
that don't
Yes,
know who
exactly.
Megan is, she basically runs Mass Fashion Week. She, I think, is like something crazy, like 25, 26 years old, and she is a professor at a university.
Snap.
I know she's incredible. Very beautiful, very talented. Does everything from modeling to music. Very knowledgeable. Just a good person to connect with, honestly, if you're in the industry. And I know that the Mass Fashion Week is honestly like it's still kind of getting its legs. So it's good to get in with that crowd because, I mean, they hold, I'm like dying over here. They hold shows in Worcester. They hold shows in South Mass, Boston, like all around. So
Yeah.
it could be potentially a great avenue to, branch off to Worcester's Fashion Week.
Yeah, I haven't been on I haven't walked for Mass Fashion Week yet, but I definitely plan on doing that.
Yeah, you should definitely go to the next casting call for sure.
What are your goals for yourself in modeling?
So my goals as of right now are just like walking for every like state fashion week in New England, like Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York. Well, I don't think New York is part of New England, but New York too. And then New Hampshire. Yeah. And then let me see, like Boston Male Best Actor / Model Award, win that. I feel like those are my goals. And then like paid gigs, which I'm setting up through my agency. Yeah. those are my goals in modeling.
Nice. What you mentioned an acting piece in there. Are you an actor as well? Is that something you're trying to get into?
Yeah, I just got like a backstage subscription. So
What is backstage?
backstage is like, I'd say backstage is the most legitimate website to apply for casting calls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have an experience acting? Is it something you did before at all, or are you just getting into it with the modeling stuff?
No, I haven't acted yet per se, but I plan on taking classes with my agency. My agency is like a talent group. It like they have like voice acting lessons, singing lessons, all that.
Was this something you saw yourself doing 5 or 10 years ago, or is this like something? Is this like a new passion for you?
I feel like no, not so. 5, 10 years ago, I wanted to be like, I wanted to be on TV, but I just really didn't have a way of doing it. And then like now, I see myself getting closer and closer to that goal. Yeah,
That's awesome.
like 5, 10 years ago, I don't think I ever thought about like modeling though, but like now I'm into it.
It just seems like such a. In my thought, it's like seems like one of those things like little kids are like, I always want to do this, and then they sort of pursue it or don't or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not familiar with people just being like, I guess I'm going to be a model now. Like it's a cool thing.
What so what's your astrological sign?
I was born on April 11th, so I am
An
Aries.
Aries. Yeah, we
Yeah.
love that. Yep. I'm a fellow Aries here. Aries Taurus. Right on the cusp, 420.
Is that a thing for models, or we?
No, Aries are just so. You said it earlier, and it like struck me because I say this anytime someone asks me like how I got into music or like what I did.
Sorry, sorry for the interruption. I interrupted with my size.
No, yes. I always tell people to just do it. Like anything that if you have a thought to do something, the best way to start is just by starting. Like obviously come up with a plan, but like as an Aries, we're very like we're going to get it done, you know.
Yeah.
Even if it's like the smallest little step to get there, we're going to take that step as soon as we have the thought.
Yeah, like there is not a right time. It's just starting.
Yep.
See,
Yeah,
that's. I think that's awesome because I am a over analyzer. Like I'm a analysis paralysis person.
What's your sign?
What?
What's your sign?
Gemini? Is that?
There's just a lot going on.
There's just a lot going on. No, but I have a tough time being like, all right, I want to figure everything out ahead of time. I want to plan everything. I want to like get it all working. Oh, we got it. Yeah, like I'm, and I think it's why I always like talking to people like you who are just like, yeah, I want to be a model, so I hit up all the people I wanted to model for, and that's how I did it. And I think that's like, and it's like you're saying, there's a certain personality type that's just like, I want to do the thing, I'm just gonna go do it. I mean, Danny, you're a great example of that too, right? If someone is just like, I want to go do this, so I'm just gonna do it. And I don't know, I just admire that a lot. And I think for those of us who tend to, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being careful and considerate in your and measured in your steps, but I think there's something. People like me need people like you, because otherwise we'll just sit there all day and be like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what it is? You know when you take like a test and it tells you like at the end of it everything that you got wrong.
Yeah.
And then like you didn't have to learn the material, but you know what's the wrong answer. So now you just start getting the right answer. You just kind of just gotta do things all wrong, so then you never do it again.
Yeah, I say that all the time. I learn best by just jumping in the fire.
Yeah.
Just let it consume me, and I'll figure out how not to get burnt.
Well, I think with something we we're talking about earlier, right, with education is the amount of money that they'll give an 18-year-old $200,000 loan to go to school, but they would never give them one to start a business.
Right.
And I think I've heard from a lot of people who went to business school, like I would have been better off just going and failing at business, like spending a bunch of money on it, failing at it, and learn all the lessons. Like you're saying, like you learn
how to lose $500. You learn how to lose $1,000.
That's what
you
I'm
learn
saying.
how to lose $10,000.
I'm saying, like I bet for a lot of people in business, like it'd be better, take your 20 grand and don't put it as don't go put it to school. Like go start a business and fail and like learn your lessons that way.
Literally.
Do you have? Can you tell us? So you've been from Worcester your whole life, correct? Is that what's Worcester like for those people who aren't Worcesterites or familiar with Worcester? It's a big city, but I think a lot of people who aren't from Worcester don't know much about Worcester.
Yeah, so like I'd say Worcester is very diverse. So Worcester has the most Gunyans in all of America.
I did not know that.
And if you look that up, I found this out like I think 2 years ago. They're starting to like make the city more appealing. Like they opened up Polar Park. Like Kelly Square, the turnaround was pretty bad. But,
oh my God,
that
the
was
worst!
The worst thing that
they fixed. It's still pretty bad because
there's
it's
some
a lot of like
structure at least.
There's structure, but like new drivers. Oh, I'm praying for you. Don't go on Kelly Square if you don't have to. But yeah, they got Polar Park now. Like,
is that where the Woo Sox play?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
That's the Red Sox AAA team is in Worcester.
Yeah. And then I'd say there's a lot of food places like not just chain restaurants, like home-owned, family-owned restaurants. I feel like there's a lot of that in Worcester. I feel like
I've had some really good meals in Worcester, so that tracks for me too. Yeah. Is there, you said with a big Ghanaian population, is there a lot of good Ghanaian restaurants?
What was that?
You said it's the biggest population of people from Ghana, right? Are there a lot of good Ghanaian restaurants?
I wouldn't say a lot, but there's definitely like a couple.
Okay.
Like there's definitely like 4 or 5, I would say.
Shout out! You got a shout out for your favorite one, because I would love to go and
shout out Anochi Chrome.
Okay. Is that right downtown?
Bro, where is it? I'm not sure where it is, but because like my parents drive.
Okay.
I'm not. So like I haven't drove there myself yet. But it's in Worcester. It's somewhere.
That's so one of my guiding features. I love all food. I love all food, and I tend to be a little bit prejudiced in my judgment of when I go to an ethnic restaurant. Like I don't want to go to an Indian restaurant and there's no Indian people in there. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it's usually a pretty good sign. So I felt like you might be a good source for telling me where to get some good Ghanaian food when I'm out in Worcester.
So yeah, I'd say Anochi Chrome.
Okay.
Dang.
I mean, that's a good way.
I'm blanking, but I know at least Anochi Chrome. I know that for sure. But yeah. And then what else about Worcester? I'd say like maybe 10 years ago it was like really bad with crime.
Oh, yeah, I think that's an impression a lot of people have it, and I would say about 10, 15 years ago. Like I remember being out there 10, 15 years ago and it being a little rough.
But I think it's definitely gotten better. I mean, there's still here and there, but it's definitely gotten better. Yeah.
What do you attribute that to anything? Why do you think that it's changed in that way?
Why do you think?
Yeah,
why do I think so?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I feel like it's still there, but it's not as rampant. Because like I just remember like me going to funerals for like some of my own like family members a lot, and like for crime. Like people died early, but I feel like now it's just like people are like of age or are dying. So I feel like I noticed that one difference.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you know like the cause of those crimes, or like what the leading cause might have been? Like what kind of crimes were committed? I mean,
The
obviously
cause of
murder, but
could you repeat that?
like what was the main cause that you were seeing of like people dying, getting murdered?
Yeah, murder. Yeah.
Is that like a gang related thing? Is there a big gang issue in
yeah, I'd say it was gang related.
Yeah. It seems like that stuff is in general like on the downturn. Culturally, at least, like I feel like 20, 15 years ago, it was like kind of like this cool, like the cool gangster thing was in, and I don't think that's a thing anymore, or not to the same way.
Just
right?
a bunch of YNs now.
A bunch of what?
Just they call it's like a abbreviation.
Oh,
for like,
yeah, okay, I got you.
So yeah, I feel like what you're saying is right, and what's going on nowadays is there's less people doing that kind of stuff, but they just televise it so much that like it feels like that's always what's going on.
That's true. I mean, so often the crime we talked about earlier, like
prevalence versus incidence.
Yeah, so like one of the ones that always struck me. Do you remember the big story? I talked about this before on the show, but in Colorado, I can't remember. Was it Colorado? I think it was Colorado. There was Venezuelan gangs taking over apartment buildings, and it was like this big Aurora, Colorado. That's what it was. Big national news. It was like 6 months ago, and it was like this big thing, and everyone was all like, "Oh, we got these immigrants are taking over these communities, and like they're literally they're going and like taking over entire apartment buildings, like run by these gangs." And it just happened to be that I was in Aurora, Colorado that week for work. And I remember walking on, like, going to the park and playing basketball and meeting random people. And just like, and I was like, where's the gangs taking over the city? Like, I thought they were supposed, and there was one incident of it was a video that someone had taken on their ring cam. And it was scary. It was like this like group of 3 or 4 clearly not well-intentioned human beings, like basically doing a home invasion, like kicking in someone's door and like, but it was one. All I saw, again, maybe I'm ignorant, but all I saw was this one incident that was like big national news. Oh my God, they're taking over. And I was there, I was like, this seems like a pretty quiet little town to me. Like it was a whole, but if you'd watched the news, you would have thought like, as you drive into Aurora, the Venezuelans with machine guns are there making, like, and it was nothing like that at all.
Yeah, it feels like a combination of a couple different things. Like, obviously, we do have, as a society, we do have more resources, period. Like, that's just as we've gone. So it's, crime goes down when resources go up, as I keep saying.
Yes.
But also, I just think there is a consciousness happening right now, realizing that it's like, it's not me versus you or me versus that fucking white guy over there. It's, it's the, there's the biggest gang in America. We know who it is.
Yes.
And it's not a gang. It's
It's a business.
It's a business.
Do you have, so are you, what are you doing in school? Are you doing, you said you're in school currently?
Yeah, I'm a sophomore in college at Assumption University right now. I'm studying biology, and then I'm going to go to grad school and then go for a physician assistant.
Nice. So you're sort of doing a dual. You're doing the modeling on one side and then going a more academic route for a more traditional route on the other side. Is that, I think that's a smart sort of way to go, like especially something as difficult as modeling to succeed in, to sort of have a second path. And I know for a lot of people, when you can pursue your, it's nice to have these things as a hobby / part-time job, even if they're not going to pay your bills, and like being a physician's assistant will. It's nice to, for musicians, artists, models, like just because you're like, oh, well, I'm not going to get rich doing this instantly, or like it's a hard thing to make a lot of money in. I don't think it means you shouldn't do it. I don't think it means you shouldn't pursue it. And so I think it's awesome to see you working hard at 2 totally different paths in life simultaneously, and I don't think there's any contradiction there. And I think so often people are like, well, that's they like to poo on your ideas, right? Like you're modeling, ha ha ha, that's silly, or like you're not going to be a musician, or you're not going to do this.
Yeah.
And you are, because you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're modeling, guess what that makes you? That makes you a model. If you're performing music on stage, guess what that makes you? A musician. Like, right? So, and I think it's so, I just love to see people pouring themselves into something and living with that passion.
Well, and especially starting off so young and just going for it, that's like in 10 years, 10 years, if you stick with something, you're going to see the fruits of your labor.
Yeah.
And like to start modeling so young and just, you know, going for it, that's really amazing.
Thank you.
So we have a couple questions that we'd like to ask all of our guests. Question one, where were you born, and what about where you're from makes you who you are?
So I was born in Worcester, Massachusetts. Yeah. But my parents were born in Ghana, and then they got their green card. They came to the U.S. So, what makes me who I am is I'm not really Black American. I'm not really African. I'm more like a second generation. I'm something new. I'm something different, right? So I feel like I'm not really the same as everyone else. I feel like I'm set apart.
I love that. That's really that's really interesting. Where have you traveled to in the world that's had the biggest impact on you of the places you've been to?
I have not left the U.S. actually.
Really? No.
Yeah. So like last year, my entire family went to Ghana, but I had school, so I was like, maybe I could miss school, but like a week of school in college is I'm gonna fail. I wouldn't be able to do it. So I decided, yeah, I'm gonna stay home. Maybe we can try for another summer, you know.
Is that the first time your family's gone back?
I think so, yeah.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
That's a long time. Is that something I assume it's something you're hoping to do in the future?
Yeah, definitely. I also have family in the UK too. My mother's sister, yeah, she's in London.
That's cool.
Very cool. What's one thing that could be done? One thing in your community that people could be doing better. Like, what's one thing in Worcester that people could be doing better would make Worcester a better place?
Like with Worcester events, you think?
Take that question however you take it.
Let me see. It's I don't know. I mean, I think maybe we could do more stuff for the homeless. I feel like,
yeah,
because we are like we're like the second biggest in Massachusetts. Sometimes I even forget that. But so like I feel like we should have like more homeless shelters. I feel like we are doing good with that, but I feel like there needs to be a little bit more.
Yeah, it's something we talk about a lot on here because I travel a lot in every single city that I've gone to, and even wealthy cities. I mean, there's no city is free of this crisis right now, and it's such a there's so many levels to homelessness, right? Part of it is just the cost of living stuff. There's that component to it. There's also a mental health piece. There's also a drug piece. There's all kinds of stuff there, and it's such a difficult issue. But one thing that we could probably do a lot better pretty easily is put roofs over people's heads, if nothing else, right? Like that's the thing that sort of boggles my mind is like we can't just get roofs over people's heads. Like
it's like affordable housing, affordable groceries, universal health care. These are the things that might help so much more than reactive policing and what?
Well, and you can't police people into like. There's no policing solution, right, for homelessness.
No. Stop arresting homeless people. I mean, they might want it because it's free housing, free meals, and that's horrible. Imagine preferring to be in. Yeah.
No, and you see like them cleaning out the homeless encampments, but like again, not doing anything other than being like, "We'll arrest you if you come back." Like, no, it's
just
brutal.
Further displace them.
Yeah, and I think without recognizing the role that our government corporations have played in proliferating the drug crisis, proliferating the mental health crises, et cetera, right? So, and letting BlackRock buy all the houses,
I keep saying it, but it's just so inherently intersectional. Everything is so annoyingly intersectional.
All right, another question for you. Question number 4 on my list. What's one thing you're doing better now than the old you? Like, what's one improvement you've made in life, and how did you make that improvement? How did you make that change?
I think one thing I do better now is time management.
Nice.
I feel like with everything that I've been doing, I feel like I've messed up a lot along the way. So I realized people's time is very important. So not just my time, everyone else's time is very important. So I feel like I need to plan things ahead of time, whether that's my assignments or my shows or anything.
I think that's
yeah.
I think that's a huge one. So there's no way you could do all the things that you're doing right now in life, right, without good time management. Any you got a time management trick or tip that you would share with people?
Just like maybe planning out like the next month, next week, like calendar. I have this on this day, this on this day. At this time, I have this specifically. Put in your calendar, put in your notes, reminder, etc. Just really thinking ahead in the future.
Yeah, I think that's smart. And there's like no excuses now, right? We all have a computer in our pocket. Like you can set all the reminders, do all the calendaring.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I think it also, you have to be very real with yourself. Like, what kind of person are you? You can plan out a day minute by minute, but you have to be honest. Like, for me, it takes genuinely 2 hours to get ready. Just to get ready for anything. I have to be honest about that, you know? So I think, yeah, you're right. We should be planning months ahead, but be real with yourself.
I'll have to work on that. I'm the type, and I'm like, I'm gonna do all the things. It's fine. Like, just load up my day. Yeah. So I think but it's good. Like when you're talking about scheduling ahead of time, it does force you to be like, wait, can I really do those things both in that day? No, I really can't. Like, it makes you think more realistically about your resources and your commitments. So I think it's very helpful. All right, last question, kind of a silly one. It's a 2-part question. Part A, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite meal?
This is a little hard, but I think I'm going to go with Domino's chicken bacon ranch pizza.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so here's part B. Would you rather only eat that for the rest of your life or never eat it again?
Oh.
Only eat it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Domino's chicken ranch pizza for the rest of your life. I don't think you'd be an athlete for too much longer, my friend.
Honestly, from the sound of you though, you were like, I was just getting tired of just doing like athlete stuff, so I decided to go into fashion. I don't think you could do, not respectfully. I think you would really get sick of it. You'd be like, oh my God, I have to eat this again for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? And a snack?
Don't tell the man what he wants.
I'm just trying to, like, are you sure?
I am absolutely sure. Because, I mean, like, you don't have to eat, like, 5. You don't have to eat, like, a little bit. Yeah. 1 slice, 2 slices.
But what are you going to do when you only need 2 slices? Is that what you're saying? It, like, lasts that long for you?
No, I'm saying, like, you don't have to have the same amount.
Okay.
Every single time.
Yeah, you could have a different part of the... Okay. I see.
Sit the crust one time.
There we go.
If you're eating, like, 5 slices, like, 5, 8, 10 every single day, you'd probably get, like, tired of it. But, like, one day, I'm going to eat 3. Another day, I'm going to have 1.
Wait, I have a question for the question. Are you allowed to do it by ingredients?
No.
You can't break it down. You have to have the whole meal.
You can't be like, I will eat chicken today. And no, that's the rules. It's a cruel world. I made it that way. Sammy, it's been awesome having you. Do you have any final thoughts? Any last things you'd like to share with us? Any last shout outs or plugs? We'll make sure that all of your links are in the description. We'll make sure people can find your Instagram. But what else can people where else can people find you? What else would you like to say while you're with us on the Doing Better show?
Let me think. YouTube at Sammy Aboagyee. TikTok Sammy X.
Cool.
Sammy X. Oh, hold on. Just called me. Sammy X Aboagyee. And yeah. I think that's it.
Yeah, we'll get that all in the comments. Make sure everybody follows you and keeps track of your career as you grow and develop.
Thank you. I'll also say this. If anyone would like to sponsor me for Worcester Fashion Week, try to get this going, let me know.
I love that. Yeah. So anybody in Worcester, I will. If you're interested, we'd love to be a part of getting this going. I think that's a great idea. I think Worcester is a vibrant city and it's slept on, and I'd love to see getting some more arts into Worcester. And I'm sure we can talk to some of our friends and maybe facilitate that. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, send us a couple of tiers, if anything, so we could see what people could sponsor you with. Or...
Yeah, we'll figure it. Yeah, we'll talk more about this. I think we can do some building in the future. I like it.
Yes. And not to plug any further, I mean, I love Mass Fashion Week, but are you in the groups or anything? Can I send you any information on that?
Am I in any groups?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say so.
All right, I will be connecting with you then.
Cool.
What was that?
I said I will be connecting with you then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely.
After.
Cool. Definitely. Building connections. I love it. Well, Sammy, thank you very much for joining us on the Doing Better show. It's been awesome having you.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks. I am Oliver Ox. This is Broadcast Easy. And, of course, the lovely Amberly. We will be back next week at 7 o'clock for Doing Better News, Sunday Review, and at 8 o'clock for our guest interview. Thanks to Sammy. Make sure you check him out on Instagram, etc. Have a good week, everybody.